Hi there, everybody. Just a little note to say that this week's episode of the podcast is brought to you in association with the wonderful Locks and Rocks clothing company. This is a great little independent company that is kindly helping by supporting a little independent podcast like us. And it's a great company. I already was aware of them. I already had a few pieces of their clothing. I love them. I quite like the outdoors as well. So it's perfect for if you're up a hill, on the water. Locks and Rocks, it's great Scottish wear. It's also sustainable clothing. Everything about it is wonderful. They do t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, hold alls. Check out their website. Support this wonderful independent Scottish company, Locks and Rocks. This is just one of the many items they have. Thank you to them and thank you for listening. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Stop Watering Dead Flowers with me, Chris Forbes. Before this week's episode, I just wanted to do a bit of shameless plugging for my Glasgow Comedy Festival show, which is on sale now. I will be doing a work-in-progress show called Father Christmas at the Stand Comedy Club on Friday the 27th of March. This is a pretty unique show. It is all about Christmas and is set at Christmas. The whole theme of the show is Christmas, but with a twist. If that sounds appealing to you, please come on down and check it out. In the meantime, please enjoy this week's wonderful episode. I once confidently waved back at someone who was absolutely not waving at me. I was having a terrible week, feeling invisible, very main character energy sad. I'm walking down the street, headphones in, pretending I'm in a sad indie film. You like that? When I see this guy across the road smiling and waving enthusiastically. So I'm like, wow, the universe sees me. I smile back and then I wave back. I even do a little extra wave so he knows I'm friendly and approachable and emotionally available. He just looks confused. Then I realise behind me there is a giant dog. A huge, majestic dog pulling on its lead, and this man is waving at the dog like it's his long-lost soulmate. I turn around, the dog is losing its mind with happiness, tail wagging, ready to see its owner, living its best life. The man does not look at me again. I do not look at him again. I cross the road immediately and pretend I was never born. To make it worse, I spend the rest of the day wondering how many times I've accidentally waved at dogs thinking they were flirting with me. That story from Amanda in Melbourne, but it says originally from Paisley. Wow.
That's great. Very well written as well, I thought.
It's very well written.
Yeah.
I've pictured that as a whole scene there.
Yeah.
Thank you for sending that in. That's exactly the type of stories we want here on Stop Watering Dead Flowers. Nearly forgot the name of my own podcast there. But welcome back for another episode with me, Chris Forbes, in association with the Stand Comedy Club. Stop watering dead flowers. Delighted to say this week in the garden I'm joined by the wonderful Liam Withnail.
Hello. I'm delighted to be here in the garden.
It's not very gardeny, but, for anyone that's just listening, we can pretend.
My garden tends to have smooth jazz playing in the background as well.
Yeah, there's a part of me that kind of hopes that people can hear the jazz every so often. As we were just... There's some work going on in the Stand Comedy Club, and the workmen are listening to really, intense jazz.
Well, I wouldn't say it's intense. It's like a smooth... I think it's a nice bed for a podcast episode.
Yeah.
So I hope people can hear it as well.
And also just a good example of not judging your typical workies music choice.
Yep. They're into Keith Jarrett and Chet Baker and other jazz musicians that I'm sure exist.
McGee. And
that story,
yeah,
it reminded me of something that I haven't thought about in years, which is really funny. So a girl I was dating when I was 16, her dad was once stood at a bus stop waiting for a bus, as you do, and someone pulled up and went, "All right, mate, where are you going?" And he went, "Oh, I'm just going into town." And I went, "Hop in." And he went, "Yeah, okay." And he got in and he was like, "I can't remember who this is, but they've offered me a lift." And he got in, looked at the bloke looked back at him and he went, "You're not who I thought you was." And he went, "Yeah." And he went, Doesn't matter, I'll give you a lift anyway.
Wow.
And then they drove 15 minutes in utter silence. And then he got out at the boots and went, cheers.
That's amazing.
Which I think is beautiful.
What a tense car journey. Once that, wow, they caught a penny drop. But let me just say that again. That was one of the best stories that's been sent in, because the way it was written there, it's beautiful.
I hope that they work in writing somehow. Maybe this is how they discover that they've got a natural knack for telling a tale. Maybe they're suffering away in some corporate office environment, and this is the catalyst they need to break free of those corporate chains and become the screenwriter that they always knew they could be.
It did also strike me as that's a story that she's had to tell a number of times.
She's perfected the
so
anecdote.
she's like, but it was
Or maybe she just chucked it into ChatGPT and it spewed it out.
Amanda. Was that her name?
Amanda.
If that even is your real name.
AI Amanda. Maybe.
Love dogs, so thumbs up for that as well. Should we tell on a side story about an incident with me? I don't know why I would volunteer that, but I have.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to talk about this.
But this is Liam. Before I introduce Liam, for anyone that is not familiar with Liam's brilliant work, Liam also has a wonderful dog.
Little Bertie, it's a girl. We don't have time to get in why she has a boy's name.
And he was with you at the Monkey Barrel Comedy Club.
I rarely bring her to gigs, but on this occasion, my wife was away and we couldn't get so I brought her along to a show one night. And I know you're very fond of dogs. So when Chris walked in, I was like, Chris, look, I've got my dog with me. How exciting. And Chris was like coming up and trying to give her a little pat. She was being perhaps a little bit skittish. He's a very tall man, and maybe the big, giant sort of gangly arm coming forward was a bit frightening. Slender man giving you a little hug. Do you know who Slender Man is?
Big horror German guy. That's me.
And so I reached into my pocket, plan being, okay, I'll give Chris a treat to give to Bert, so that then Bert is then ingratiated to this new person, and that's all it takes really, is one treat, and then she's your friends for life. So I handed Chris, here you go. I handed Chris this dog treat, and then without blinking, without taking a moment, he accepted the dog treat and put it directly into his mouth, and said thank you, and just ate this chewy meat stick. It was just the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. How could you possibly? So many things about it. First off, if anyone gave me a bit of food, I would inspect it. I would say, "What's this?" It's not like it looked like a cookie. It was this tiny little, it's like cylinder of meat.
Yeah.
That he just popped in his gob. I went, thanks, and then kind of went, "What is that?" And I was like, I was open mouth. I was like,
You were.
what? That's Chris, that's dog food. I gave it. And he went, oh, yeah, it's not very nice.
I'm just a very good boy. In my defence, it was the tub that it came out of. It was a food tub, and I just assumed it was.
But God bless you for being so trusting that you would just accept anything I gave you as food. You'd be very easy to poison.
Yep.
There'd be no having to like cook it into a beef Wellington with you. It'd be eat this mushroom. Okay, he's dead.
If you offer me food, I'll eat it. I don't want to be Slender Man anymore. Okay, Liam Withnail, stand-up comedian. I mean, writer, actor, a little bit of everything since you've been in the world of performing arts.
Yeah, I guess. Can we say actor? I suppose. It's been a while.
This whole thing's an act. I mean,
That's
who
true.
are we kidding?
All the world's a stage.
And I have been a fan of yours and a pal of yours for a long time. And then very much enthused by especially your last couple of Fringe shows, which many people might be familiar with. Chronic Boom was that 2 years ago now or 3?
3 Fringes. I don't bloody know. It was an amount of time ago.
Yeah.
That I can tell you.
And then Big Strong Boy, for anyone that didn't see that as well, which is still currently on tour.
Yes, the UK tour has finished. There's 5 dates coming up in Adelaide. So if
Get yourselves over.
if Amanda, the AI chatbot, wants
Melbourne,
to make
lady.
a short flight over to Adelaide, where there is, do you know there's a time difference between Adelaide and Melbourne? of half an hour. Isn't that completely unhinged?
You're making that up.
No, a 30-minute time difference. Is that not? It's like what?
What's the point?
What is the point? So Amanda, if you're about, and then I'm doing it one more time in the UK actually at Machantlev Comedy Festival in March. If anyone's interested, March, April again, a time. Look it up, Google it.
Here we go. I feel like I know you fairly well, and in terms of the circuit, people know each other. But doing this show, I often find out more about someone that I've known for 20 years over the course of the next 40 minutes, just because of the stories that you might have to divulge.
The therapeutic nature of the concept.
Yeah.
We're going to get into it.
Let's start with a childhood one, if we may. And how, before you even tell me that one, how are you in general with coming up with stories? Are you someone that lingers on them, or are you quite good at just letting them go?
When I thought, okay, childhood memory that makes me sort of cringe was it didn't take long for me to think. There was multiple options for sure.
Good.
I was quite, I had that sort of dangerous combination of being a bit awkward and just, not awkward, but like just speaking without thinking, but also being a bit of an extrovert.
Yeah.
So like wanting to be, an actor and all that stuff. So quite confidently saying bad and stupid things, which I've continued into my adult life. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yeah, that sounds like a good description of all stand-up comedians. Confidently shouting bad and stupid things.
So, there was a few, but there was one that I just think of that I gives me the heebie-jeebies just to think about. And it's not even, I don't think it's that bad, but there's something specific about it which makes me just thinking about it. I hadn't thought about it in a long time, actually, and I was going through the Rolodex of sort of embarrassing moments from my youth, and this one, I've just thought of another one as well. But no, I think that was too, because I wanted to, these are ostensibly, kind of funny stories, and some of these embarrassing stories aren't really funny.
No, good. It's, they don't have to be funny. You just can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
Let's hear this one that's already visibly made you.
I think you won't think it's that bad, but I remember when I was like in secondary school.
Yeah.
And you could choose classes for the first time. I don't know if that happened in Scottish schools. You sort of hit 14 and you can get your options. And so I finally got to choose drama as a class.
I see.
Very exciting for me. And I mean, it was still drama in a school in Dagenham. So it was lots of, mostly it was kids who choosing it because they thought it would be a skive. And we had this very eccentric drama teacher, Mr. Horncastle, who used to wear a sort of 3-piece velvet suit and had these little glasses and slick black hair. He looked like a sort of Noel Coward character.
Wow.
Hello there, boys and girls. Come in, take your seats. I don't know how he ended up at this like Dagenham secondary school, but he would wear a cravat and
what a character.
Yeah, and
Horncastle.
Mr. Horncastle. Come in, boys and girls, take your seats. And he I remember the first lesson, he sort of said, I know many of you have chosen this because you think it's an easy option rather than studying history or French, but let me tell you, there'll be nothing easy about this class. That's kind of how he spoke.
Let me tell you, he taught you well. We insight into the acting skills there.
And so our first, he said, if you wish to study drama, you need to be entirely at comfort with your peers. So in order to do this, our first exercise, you will go home, you will learn and you will practice a song. And next week, we are going to take turns and unaccompanied by music, we are individually going to perform a song to the rest of our classmates. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be humiliating. But after that, all of you will have gelled like a unit like you never have before, and we'll be ready to take the next steps into the world of drama and theatre arts. Okay, so that was our first bit of homework. And everyone was like, I'm not doing it. That was the first, I'm not doing that. No way. Because remember, we're like 14.
Yeah,
this is like
Oh,
high school, hormones, puberty, like self-esteem,
you're not
cliques,
putting yourself out there.
bullying, right? But everyone has to do it. So you go away and you're like, what what am I gonna sing? What am I gonna stand in front of my class in this drama studio and sing? And the song I landed on, because I instinctively knew the only way to have this not feel awkward, it would the worst thing you can do is try and be good.
Yeah.
So what you have to do instead is try and be funny.
Yeah.
Choose something silly, lean into it.
Okay.
Now, a song I enjoyed a lot of the time was by the glam rock band The Darkness. Oh, no. I believe in a thing called love.
Oh, no.
And so I had a little practice. I knew the words already. And then next week rolls round. And to be fair to old Horncastle, he did it first. He stood up and he sang and a song, and he was like he could hold a note. But he wasn't like a talented singer.
Yeah.
And then he would just start. Okay, up next, Emma, and we'll go up, and she would just sort of sing, some sort of. I can't remember. There was a song roughly around that period. Do you remember "F You Right Back" by Frankie and?
Oh yeah.
And so all of F You Right Back, and then there was some kids who did Eminem, and they would rap. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, and people would clap along. And he said, "Liam, your turn." And there's part of me that wishes I had the footage.
Me too.
Because I'd love to see it. But if you can imagine a sort of 14-year-old boy awkwardly shuffling onto stage, no music, and just...
That is a high register, man.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. My heart's in overdrive and you're behind the steering wheel. You had to sing a verse and a chorus.
Oh, let's hear the chorus.
I believe in a thing called love. Just let the rhythm of my heart. There's a chance we can make it now. You'll be rocking till the sun comes down. I believe in a thing called love. Ooh. Now, if you'll remember, in the song, after the ooh, Justin Hawkins, lead singer of The Darkness, lets out a very powerful like that. And I thought, well, I've got to do the So I hit whoo, and then I went and I sort of thrusted. I grabbed both fists and I thrusted. I went like that, and which I thought would be funny. And the class just sort of looked, and I thought, I've misjudged this. It was not the time to be funny. It was the time to be serious. Everybody wanted it to be. Everyone was trying, and I went, and there was just a sort of slow clap. And then, thank you, Liam. Please take your seat.
Not even the Horncastle liked it.
Not even the Horncastle liked it.
What an image. What an image. And did you feel the repercussions of having performed that way in front of these people?
People would sing it at me for the rest of my time at secondary school, yeah. I walked down the hallway at lunchtime and I'd hear, I believe in it, call love, just like that. And everybody knew who didn't go to that class that this was happening because it had been a big talk in the playground. We have to do this thing next week. And we'd come out and so we'd go to the playground and everybody's like, oh, how was it? What happened? And it was the talk of the school. It was, oh yeah, he sang Eminem, it was good. And then Liam sang The Darkness. Oh my God, because The Darkness were also seen as a very silly band.
Yeah.
They were not a cool band to like.
You could have gotten away with all that if it hadn't been for the Her.
Yes, I think the Her was the nail in the coffin of my high school popularity.
What a shame.
And I just wish I had not. I wish I'd just sang, Robbie Williams.
Yeah.
And I would have just got on with my life.
They'd have found something about it.
He liked to hurt as well, to be fair to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loving angels instead. That's a beauty. I like it. But I'm glad it didn't deter you from performing, a career in the performing arts.
No, to be quite honest with you, like I think old Horncastle saw something that day that he liked.
Well, I think you gave him the horn by the sounds of it.
Because I was then I got the sort of main role in all the productions from that point onwards, and it was he who encouraged me to go to leave secondary school and to join a drama college.
Please leave, Liam. Why don't you join?
I think you should just leave and never come back.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I was kind of like, oh, and now do the chorus because I thought it was going to be really bad there, but it wasn't the worst rendition there, even just sitting on the couch. So,
well, without warming up,
through Horncastle's eyes, I can see what he saw, the potential.
Horncastle, if you're watching, thank you. You freed me in a way that I don't know that you truly appreciate. But
He saw the potential, and the rest of the class just saw the darkness. All right, that's a good start. I like that one. Let's move forward. Have you got one from a career moment, stand up or otherwise?
Yeah, I've thought about. There was one that immediately came to mind because I do think of it regularly.
They're the best ones, the real haunting ones.
And I've been wondering whether or not to name the company, but I think I will.
Brilliant.
It's the Gilded Balloon, right?
Yes, can't wait to tag them in this afterwards.
And they used to run a gig at the Rose Theatre in Edinburgh. And I'd hosted it one weekend. And maybe it was like September.
Yeah.
And this is like it's a good few years ago. I'm working most weekends, but you know, I'm not flush. Mm-hmm. I'm not flush now, but less so then. And I've sent off my invoice. So it's, you know, the standard for comedy is you do your gig, you do your invoice, and then within 30 days you're supposed to be paid.
Yeah.
Different clubs are differently good at hitting that. The stand is very good. And other clubs are very good. Some clubs famously very bad.
Yeah, very true.
And sometimes you have to chase them, which you hate doing because you don't want to bother them. You're worried they're not going to book you again. And it's stupid, really, because it's your money. But you're like, oh, I don't want to bother you, but please can you give me the £500, please? And so having done that for a few years back when Jongleurs was going and having done the chasing and everything, I now have very little time for it. If someone's late, I don't really care if I'm not worried about, oh, you're going to book me again. I think you owe me money. So I'm very on it. And so a month went by. And then 2 months went by. Nothing. It was coming up to Christmas. And I was skint and I was in a bad mood. And I realised I hadn't been paid. And so I sent an email to the Gilded Balloon. And I think, to be honest, I think I was on one because I think there was a few people who owed me money and it was late.
Right.
And so I was owed probably a couple £1,000 from different things. And I was like, I'd had to borrow some money to make rent.
Yeah.
So I emailed the Gilded Balloon and I said, listen, it's been 9 weeks since I did this gig. I emailed you with my invoice 2 days after the gig. You're supposed to pay within 30 days. You know that. I know that. You're a big company. You can afford to have these like late incomes and outgoings. I'm just a guy. If you don't pay me, I can't pay my rent. I've had to borrow money from my parents. It's embarrassing. And it's because you're late and I think you probably have got the money. You haven't got round to it. And it's not good enough. It's not fair. And then they responded, you were paid on the 8th of September. And I checked my bank account. And it was there.
Oh, no. That's awful.
And I said, I am so sorry. If you'd like to book me again, unfortunately you won't be able to because I am going to walk into the ocean.
That's so good.
I was so because when I sent the email, I was sort of going,
Feeling good.
Good for you.
Up there. And
You know what? There's too much of this shit going on, and someone has to.
social justice.
Someone has to do it. And they had not only paid, but paid quickly.
Promptly. Oh, my days.
And I felt awful.
The worst thing is I'm thinking that then you're like, oh, it must have been the other. I should have emailed the other clubs, but you wouldn't have wanted to send another email again in your life after that.
No, I had to put a PA to manage it all for me. I now just don't do invoices anymore. I just think, just keep the money. It's not worth the risk.
That's a great burst of sax at the end of the story as well. I love that. I love that their reply was so like, you were paid on this date, and you just had to go, sorry
about that, guys. You are actually, that was good. What you did, and I am bad and stupid.
What an email. But that does happen a lot. That's why I can see it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny that you weren't just like, guys, I've not been paid for this yet. Can you check? You were
I felt empowered. Because it'd been years of there's money. I never got paid for my last Jongleurs weekend, and that was £600 that just disappeared into the ether, as well as paying down. That still rankles me. Those bastards, So that was coming out. I was directing that anger at these guys.
Yeah.
And I felt good. I was like, yes, someone has to stick up for the little man. Yeah. I don't care whether or not these guys go, oh, he's being a bit annoying. No, you don't get to say that. You owe me money. No, we don't. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
Oh, dear. You only get 600 for Jongleurs. I used to get 8. No. I get back on them. That's great. Do they bring it up? Because, Katie and Karen are both still about, or was it just whoever was in the finance that maybe replied?
I think it was the finance department at the time. And they were, to be fair to them, very understanding. Because I think it probably felt quite good for them to be like, no, you fuck this. And I was so immediately apologetic and groveling.
Yeah.
That, no, all was fine from after that. And in fact, I you know what? I actually did a gig for them 2 weeks ago, and I've yet to send the invoice. So I'm expecting a sort of grumpy email from them. Liam, we have work to do, and it's important you send your invoices in because we are going to fall behind, and you need to do that. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's a good one. That's a good one because it's a work story, and it's actually a work story. Money. It's like the business side of things.
Yeah.
We're not here talking about embarrassing heckles. We're talking about the life and death scenarios of the stand-up comedy world.
Yeah. And so how much might I invoice you for this?
The next story, we usually go... Do you know what? It's also funny, which is a great insight to anyone that thinks, being a comic must be great fun, and maybe you make lots of money. If you want to know how hard it is to survive as a stand-up comedian, Liam was like, I am skint. I need that money. And he had the money.
Yeah, I had been paid. And I'd spent it already, probably on crisps.
That's how we live. That's how we live.
So then I was really fucked because I was like, I had told my mum and dad that I'll be getting this money from the Gilded Balloon to pay them back. And I just then sheepishly phone them and say, yeah, you're not getting that money. Not until February when my next round of Gilded Balloon gigs come through.
But listen, next time you get your wage, feel free to buy yourself a Locks and Rocks t-shirt. This episode brought to you by Locks and Rocks, wonderful clothing company, Scottish independent, sustainable clothing. Locks and Rocks. You wouldn't need a full weekend at Gilded Balloon to pay for one of these bad boys. Get yourself a bargain. Smoothly done.
Wow, that had all the authenticity of Gary Neville trying to plug Huel. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I drink Huel. My favourite flavour is strawberry.
They've tried to do one of the ones now where it's like they've tried to record them when they're just having a chat about it. And Jamie Carragher's like, no, I actually do like it. I do drink it. It's part of my day.
And then they probably just end up arguing about it.
Whereas I actually do wear Locks and Rocks t-shirts. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's move on. What are we
What's
going
weird
to?
about that is that I know that's not, you're not officially sponsored and it is just a passion.
See? There you have it. I put the... I can't think of anything catchy to say.
I put the cocks into locks. No.
Yeah. We'll think of something. We'll think of a catchy tag. Where are we going next? It's always good to do a relationship one. Should you have one? Doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a relationship with a friend or a family member. I don't usually put that in the document because it is funnier if it's a romantic one. Did you have one for a relationship?
Yeah, there's a moment that I think about often that
And it looks like you're thinking about it right now.
my partner and I have been together for 10 years. Married for nearly 10 years. And maybe our first trip away, one of our first trips away, we went to Bordeaux in France. And it was a really nice trip. Like first time like getting an Airbnb together, and I think maybe we were just married. We got married very quickly. So I'm not sure. We'd only been together a year, but then we got married. So, and we were just having a really nice holiday. It was a post-Fringe holiday.
Nice.
September again, just been paid by the Gilda Balloon, money in my pocket, and and the weather was really nice. We're having such a nice time. And you know those points in your relationship when you're away or you're doing something, you're like, this is it. This is what it's all about. And God, we found each other and it's great and things are going well and life's exciting. And we went one day, not to sound like the coolest person you've ever met, but to a board game cafe, which was on like one of the main streets in Bordeaux. Have you ever been to a board game cafe?
I have not.
So, I mean, it is what it sounds like. It's a cafe. There's thousands of board games. And so you can order a coffee and a toasty. And whilst you're there, you can, take a board game out and you can play a game, right? I like playing games. My partner is not as into it, but she likes it. And it was there, so we're like, yeah. So we sort of sit down and this Frenchman, what the board game would you like to play today?
Oh.
And we're like, we'll need some with English instructions. Like, we do not carry many English board games. I will have a look. And
another shout out to Horncastle here. We're getting all the voices and characters.
And so he pulls out. He comes back. This game is called. That was German. No, this game. This game was called Mr. Jack.
Mr. Jack.
Mr. Jack. And it has English instructions. It is a very good game you will like for two people. So we sip our coffee, we have a look at the instructions, and it's like a Jack the Ripper sort of based board game.
Jesus.
One of you is Jack the Ripper, and the other is an ill-fated woman of the night.
Wow.
Trying to escape the Jack the Ripper's murderous rampage.
Board game.
Yes. And it's like you sort of roll a dice and then you move and you sort of have to run, and there's like cards and different things you can do. But there's an element of like bluffing.
Right.
Without getting into the mechanics of the game too much. Basically, there's an element where you sort of have to trick your opponent a little bit into maybe which way you're going to run away.
Right.
So they have to kind of predict which way you're going. And so I had this idea. And that was, I want her to think that I'm going to go this way when actually I'm going to go this way. So to make her think that, she's going to assume that I'm bluffing. So I need to sort of do a semi-obvious lie so that she sees it and goes, he's lying, and goes the other way. But actually, so what I was essentially trying to do was a triple bluff, right? Not a lie about a lie, but a lie about a lie about a lie. And so I said, I put it down, I went, okay, I go left. And I saw the little hamster in the wheel in her brain just sort of working all this out. And it played out so perfectly. She said it out loud. She was like, well, you're only doing that because you want me to go that way. And she's like, unless you want me to think that you're going that way. And she was so sure of herself.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have walked directly into my trap. I've seen the mouse sniffing the cheese and steadily walk towards it and place one of his little paws on the trap and snap. And I turned over my card and I was like, ha ha! I went that way. And then I saw in her face the realization of what had happened. And this is the image that is brought back to me regularly.
Yeah.
Because I saw her opinion of me change. Because when she realized the level of deception
Wow.
that I'd managed to do, she suddenly didn't see me as the same person.
I could never
She
fully
saw
trust
me
this
as
guy.
a master manipulator,
Yeah.
as someone who maybe could never be completely trusted.
Wow.
I saw her look and I saw her go. She went, wait, so you said that so that I would do that? And at first I'm like, yes, I did. And then she's like, oh my God. And I was like, oh no. I've let her see too much. Now she knows what I'm capable of. Now she knows the true sociopathic nature of my personality.
God, the fact that you were playing a Jack the Ripper board game as well when you let the mask slip.
Yep. The only thing that was ripped up there was her trust in me.
Wow.
Perhaps if Jack the Ripper had focused more on upsetting people's trust rather than murdering prostitutes, then...
Yeah. I guess the parallels do stop there. Yeah. It's a lot to unpack from that whole story because I still can't get over that there's a board game about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. And that they actually are. Like, I think I associate board games most of the time with like Family Time. I know you get a lot of kind of older adult board games, but
Listen, if I know you like the way I think I do, I think that if you just need the right hand to guide you along the board into the board game world, and I think you could be heavily invested pretty quickly because there is a whole world out there of different cool board games and of different levels of maturity and skill level. You know, I can imagine you and your partner sitting down and getting. You've played, I mean, a game I love, Pandemic. You've played Pandemic.
I haven't heard of it. But
About the global pandemic, well, not the global pandemic, but a global that you try and stop as scientists. Not suitable for children whatsoever.
I do. I think my problem with it is that they've called him Mr. Jack. It's like he's a kind of CBeebies character.
Yeah, I wonder if that was like just a French version of it. I don't know.
Mr. Jack.
Mr. Jack.
Hey, you character.
Yeah. We'll have to look that up. I'll have to look that up after.
But I also like that because that is not an obvious type of story that someone might have in terms of that's a moment that you relive, but you can picture that clearly when you described her just being like,
I felt like Dr. Evil. Yeah. Stroking my cat, going, ah ha ha.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack. You have fallen right into my plan. And then, just nothing was the same ever since.
Do you know what? Have you played, because I'd imagine then knowing that about you and that Mr. Jack, everyone's been saying that the Traitors board game is very good.
I haven't played it, but here's the knock-on effect of this this moment. We play games like Pandemic now.
Okay.
Or because they are cooperative games.
That's it.
So the knock-on effect is that we're not allowed to play competitive games anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm too manipulative, some would say. Others would say too good.
There's no trust games in your house like, oh, I'll fall backwards and you catch me.
I wanted her to think I was going to catch her, but in fact, she broke her skull. She walked straight into my trap. What a fun prank. She's walking around like Mr. Bump.
Also a great board game.
Mr. Bump. I would love to see a Mr. Men style, Jack the Ripper style crossover board game. Mr. Bump, you have bumped into 3 prostitutes this week. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry.
Let's move on.
We riffed too close to the sun on that one.
Yeah. No, we started strong. Where are we going next? That's a good relationship one. And now, did we do a career one already? We did.
Yeah.
So now it's just dealer's choice. If you've got anything else that you'd quite like to get off your chest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my partner was there, but it's not to do with our relationship. But you might know this story already about the time I ran the London Marathon.
I know stories about it, yes.
Um,
And I am wondering if it's the one I'm thinking it would be.
I think it probably is.
It stands out.
What's the easiest way to say this? Is it better to tell the story as? Let's just tell it in chronological order.
Let's do it.
So it was my first marathon, and I got to do the London Marathon, which is like, very prestigious event. 50,000 people.
Never heard of it.
And in fact, the time I did it first, the Queen was there to start the
To do
race. She ran it. 3 hours 42. Good time for an old bird. I trained. And you know what? Tell a lie. It was the Sorry, I apologize. It was not the first time I ran the London Marathon. It was the second time I'd ran the London Marathon. The first time, the Queen was there, and I was injured, but it was fine. Because I'd injured myself the first time, I didn't really get to run the race I wanted to run. I'd always
any of us?
I'd had ambitions of being around the 4 hour mark, but I'd hurt my hip flexor, so I had to walk for the last sort of 5 miles, and it ended up taking nearly 5.5 hours, something like that, a long time. So I was like, right, next time I'm gonna train harder, do this, all the things I've learned. So I'm training in Australia. I'm out doing the Adelaide Festival, late night runs, going really well. I feel really good about this race. And then I start to hear that the Melbourne Comedy Festival has been cancelled, and flights are being cancelled coming in and out of China because of a strain of flu called the coronavirus, right? We make our way back to the UK. There's a lockdown. The marathon took a long time to cancel. They were like, oh, maybe it could happen. But eventually they pied it, right? So my running training falls off a cliff. Obviously, I'm just sat in the house eating crisps for about a year. And then we get the message, lockdown's over, the next marathon is on.
Nice.
Now I have to start training all over again. That's fine. There's no gigs. There's nothing else to do. So I go out and I start my running training. And I haven't ran in a while, but it's very difficult. I'm finding it hard even to run for as long as 5 kilometers without having to stop to like get breath. And I'm not running very fast. This is strange. I must be so unfit. I can't even run 5 kilometers. But surely after a while, the training will get better. And every week I go out and I'm not getting any fitter until eventually it's race day. And I'm like, I can't run 5K without stopping. So I'm going to have to run a mile, walk a mile. That's my plan. I do that. It's horrible. It's really tough. I feel dreadful the whole time. It takes me over 6 hours. I get to the end and my partner's there. She's like, I know you found that hard, but you did it. Raised all this money for charity. Let's go for dinner. And wow.
That was on cue with the dinner.
That was
I
crazy.
don't know if people picked up on that, but Sean,
His stomach rumbled.
As Liam just said, let's go for dinner.
Yeah, it was like it sounded like a spooky bog.
That was amazing.
From like BBC sound effects, like
Goosebumps or
can
something.
you play Spooky Bob? The scene is set. Should say the London Marathon happened in a swamp that year. And anyway,
You're going for dinner.
I sit down. I eat a pizza, and then I start to feel a bit unwell, and I feel sick, which I haven't drank in a long time. Last time I vomited was last time I drank, which was as I sit here now, 10.5 years ago. At this point, maybe it was like 6 years. So I haven't vomited in a long time, but I feel like I'm going to vomit. But before I can, I faint. I'm unconscious in this pizza restaurant. And my wife shakes me. And she like puts some water on my head, brings me back round. And I wake up and I look at her and she's going, Liam, you fainted? And it's at this point I realise I have fully shat my pants. I have evacuated. And I found out after I was unconscious for about 20 seconds. And my body in that time just gone, he must be dead. Time to...
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Let's get this done.
We need a new host.
I'm wearing post-marathon clothes. So I've got...
Baggy.
grey trackies.
I can travel.
And I'm sat in a... And in fact, there's one that opened in Edinburgh now, a Pizza Pilgrims it was. I'm sat in a Pizza Pilgrims in my own...
feces.
In my own feces. And my wife, God bless her, was amazing.
Yeah.
I actually sort of whispered to her, Lauren, I've shot myself. And she's like, she's like, yep. Oh.
She just shat herself in unity. Right there beside you.
No, she went, good luck on the way home. Remember Mr. Jack? It's like, no! She's like, that was my plan all along. I had you run the London Marathon exactly so you would shit yourself. Who's the triple bluffer now? Withnail? No, she stood behind me as we sort of sidled out of the restaurant. And she paid and dealt with everything, and she sort of had a quick wipe of the seat. And she held my hand as we got the London Underground back to the... And I thought I was going to faint again, so then I had to get off the train, and we sat at Canary Wharf station for over an hour whilst I was like sat on the side, just sat in my own sort of shitty pants, you know.
So you didn't... I mean, was there a bathroom there that you had a quick visit to for a...
but not enough. I mean, the damage was done, you know? There's... You can put lipstick on a pig, but... There wasn't much more that could be done in this situation.
Well, listen, Liam, thank you very much for coming on. What else have you got coming up? Have you got stuff? I mean, will you be doing your latest show at the Glasgow Comedy Festival by chance?
No,
or have you just got that?
I've already done it.
At Welsh? Oh,
I filmed it. Be coming out on a rather well-known streaming platform, YouTube, in, I think, like Mayish. But I'm having a kind of year of rest and relaxation after this last tour. I've got these tour dates in Australia and Machantleith, and I'm not doing the Fringe this year. I've got some other projects on the go. But until then, I'm just living my best life. And I'm enjoying having a moment of, I'm not plugging anything. If you like me, there's some stuff you can see. There's my previous specials on YouTube, Live at Monkey Barrel. Go check it out. I sometimes do a podcast with Christopher MacArthur Boyd. We just dropped a few new episodes called Enjoy an Album. Go check it out. But that's okay if you maybe just keep an eye out for next time when I am doing something. Isn't it? Yeah, it's nice. It's nice not to be, constantly telling people, come see this thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what it's like to plug anything, but I would say if you want to buy clothing, I would look at a company called Locks and Rocks.
Cocks and Socks. That's my.
Yeah. If you're looking at me going, look at that striped, sexy devil. Where did he get that?
Yeah.
It's Locks and Rocks, baby.
Yeah.
Check him out. Liam, thank you very much. All the best for the future. Godspeed.
Godspeed, you.
And to anyone that's listening and watching, thank you very much. As always, keep sending in your stories. Big thanks as always to the Stand Comedy Club for hosting us here in their wonderful venue. What's all the things again? Yes, try and like, share, subscribe. That's all the things you're supposed to do, I think, with podcasts. And see you next time.